Ge.Holla, G.Holla.
Shout out to Ge.Holla.
To GeHolla.
Ge.Holla.
Ge.Holla. Ge.Holla.
Ge.Holla. Shout out my guy Ge.Holla.
My boy Ge.Holla.
UGK for life. Giving a shout out to G, man.
Shout out to Ge.Holla.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Right now we have this is, you're looking for some good Louisiana cuisine, and if a person was this cuisine, it would be this wonderful lady right here. And we're talking about the real life Louisiana gumbo. She does all kinds of things. We're talking about an actress, a producer, a self-taught, self-made woman out here in the world being great and magical as she is. And in her own words, I'm gonna let her introduce herself so you guys can get a better understanding of who she is.
What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Denise, Boutte, and Judd.
Absolutely. We're talking about a star right now. And Kimmy D, please jump onto the line and speak with our wonderful guest of this afternoon. Thank you for being on the show.
All right. Good afternoon. It was like lovely intro for her. So I just wanted you to do a little background about who you are, where you come from, for those people who may not be aware of your talents and things that you've done entrepreneurial wise, and then we'll get into the present.
Oh, girl, that's a big question. Oh, Lord, who I am. How do I condense this? I'm from a small town in Louisiana, graduated LSU, had a career in advertising, fell into acting, and here I am acting, producing, and also have another brand that I'm working on, a spice line called Louisiana Girl Spices.
So I was reading a little bit about you. So what was your motivation for your brand as far as the season? And also, what is it about you that makes you stand out and continue to do acting, to coming from a communications background?
Oh, girl, you got some hardcore.
That's all
information in each one of those. Okay. That's what I'm confused about. Okay, there's so much in there. So how did I come from wanting to do the spice line? That's the first question.
The first question. So let's take it present and take it backwards. So what was your inspiration?
So let's start with one piece at a time. Okay, what's the first question?
The first one is, what was your inspiration of doing the season in line?
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I come from Louisiana, of course. And so I come from a long line of folks that can throw down in the kitchen, right? Well, during the whole COVID situation, I was basically trying to find something to do with myself. And after I had my daughter, I was just like, what is my other passion? What can I do? I'm not auditioning right now and all this other stuff. So what is my other passion? Well, when I was in advertising in Louisiana, every single Saturday, I would do a call with my mom. I would get homesick and I would be like, hey, Mom, how do you make blah, blah, blah? She was like, okay, so go to the store, get this, that, and the other. I'd go and get that stuff. Saturday morning, we would get on a call together and she would take step by step through the process of making this dish. So I had never really cooked before, but in order for me to, cure my homesickness, I would talk to my mom and make all these comforting dishes. Well, that again took over whenever I had my daughter, and I was trying to find that comfort and way to reconnect with who I am. And so that kind of manifested into something else. And when I met Chef Jannard, who I have the cookbook with, it was just kind of like an epiphany. He was just like, what is this? What are you using on this salmon? Something as simple as that, right? And I was just like, I don't know. I'm mixing myself in the kitchen. He was like, you need to put this in a bottle. And I was like, what? He was like, no, you really need to put this in a bottle. So I basically gave him the ingredients. He measured it up or whatever. And we had the spice, bottled and made, and it's expanded from then. So now we're on the shelves in several stores in Louisiana, regional right now. And so we're trying to expand beyond that. But yeah, Louisiana Girl Culinary is currently only spices, but we're currently expanding into things beyond that. So
you touched on a little bit of how we got there. So my other question, part of that was, how did you go from the communication background? And I know I read about you doing a little bit of journalism, and then you were on set, and that's how you got into the acting. But what kept you motivated to continue with it?
Okay, so the advertising thing, I thought that I was going to be a journalist. I thought that, hey, I'm going to go ahead and be an anchor woman and this, that, and the other. Well, I couldn't read a teleprompter. So that dream slowly died. There is a skill set to actually being an anchor. Like that sucker is not that easy. Okay. So I wasn't able to master that. And so decided that I was going to intern at an advertising agency. Right. And so, I was like, okay, let me go ahead and see how things go in Dallas. Things went great. And they were the folks that offered me my first job. So I started off with Frito-Lay. I started off with Frito-Lay, did Pampers. The last job was a Fossil. And the way that the acting thing kind of took shape was Fossil was launching their first brand of clothing, right? To save money, they had several of us around the agency basically pose for the materials they were going to put up in the stores. Great. A local agency saw some of those, offered 3 of us, a meeting to come in and discuss like having some sort of a career with them, for submissions and all this fun stuff. We laughed at it. I went in, took the meeting, and things just kind of went on from there. Like it was not something that I intended to do. I was a total behind the scenes kind of chick. I'm a type A personality. So anything creative was definitely not in my trajectory, but God had other plans. You know what I'm saying? So one thing led to another. It kind of didn't stop to the point where my boss was like, you got to pick one. Like you are missing so much work right now. You got to figure this out. And mind you, I was married, I think for 6 months when that happened. And I chucked the deuces and that was it. My husband was like, I support you with whatever decision you make. And I really think you need to follow your heart right now, because these things aren't happening by happenstance. Like this is happening for a reason. So loaded up the truck, girl. We didn't move to Beverly, but we loaded up the truck and headed out west.
So as a woman who handles many different avenues with the producing, the acting, and then your own entrepreneurial things, how do you balance it all?
You know what? You can't. I mean, at certain points, one thing, takes all of your time and effort. And so I wouldn't necessarily call it a balance per se. You give the attention to what it is that needs it most at the time. Like right now, for instance, I've got 3 projects that just all decided to hit at the same time from a production, standpoint. So I'm just like, woo, wiping my brow, on one side, but then I've got Louisiana girl stuff, orders that I need filled to take care of tonight. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if I've ever like gotten the balance down. Then baby girl comes home off the bus and she wants to, tell me about her day. So and then a wife, you know what I'm saying? So it's just a matter of picking and choosing and giving yourself to whatever it is that needs you most in that moment. But, just finding the joy in it. You know what I'm saying? You're never going to have a to-do list completely checked off. I talked to a friend of mine one day and she told me, find the top 3 to 5 things that you can accomplish in a day, but you'd have to have a quitting time. So at some point, you have to reward yourself at the end of the day by saying, I checked these boxes, I accomplished something. Now it's time for me to rest. You know what I'm saying? Because if not, I mean, I wouldn't go to bed at night. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's always something to do, but again, I try to find, a way to give myself to everything, but there's no way to just, conveniently, equally position yourself for everything. So I give myself, as needed.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I actually told someone that the other day, how you can just check off one thing, you actually program your brain into feeling success for that day.
Yeah. Yes.
And
you
so
have to feel like you accomplished something, or else you're just kind of like spinning your wheels like, oh my God, I still have this to do. Oh my God, I'm sad. And for me, making a home cooked meal matters. You know what I'm saying? Last night I made some pot pie. I at least 3 to 4 times a week I cook. So on certain days or whatever, that's slated. So my quitting time, as soon as baby girl comes home or whatever, by 5:30, I'm in that kitchen. You know what I'm saying? So I have a schedule of sorts. Of course, I can't follow it to the T all the time, but I do my damnedest or whatever to know when to unplug, and once that food is on the table or whatever, we have that meal. Then it's time, for that next gig, I guess you would say, to start. But you have to give yourself time to, like you said, reward yourself by checking off a box. Like you have something you accomplished by the end of that day, and that you give yourself time to rest and regenerate so you can go and fight, the next day.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that as well, because I think sometimes mentally, as the stigma of a Black woman is the superwoman. And I tell people that can be debilitating a lot, and how you never fully ask, do you need help? Or you got it, so you take on everything. Do you feel like that stigma has hindered people within the community as well?
Oh, I'm sure. You know what I'm saying? And there's times that I got to check myself. You know what I'm saying? But if you surround yourself with a good group of girlfriends or whatever, you know, who gonna check me, boo? If you got yourself, you know, an amazing village, they can see when you're going haywire, or when they're like, okay, girl, come on, babe. You need some lunch, you need some dinner, you need some talking time or something like that, because it is hard. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, if I'm not on set, if I'm not working on set, I'm over here and I'm hustling. You know what I'm saying? And from a production standpoint, again, with all of these projects that I have going on right now, I have an amazing team, but I am a perfectionist. I am a type A personality. Okay. So to me, no one does it better than me. So, you know, if we're getting a pitch or something together, I want to be that person to, quote, massage the dialogue and make sure that it sounds right and it flows right. But I also have to learn how to delegate. That is also a part of being an amazing leader and being a boss, okay? Is learning how to delegate. You have to let go. We can't do everything. We can't be all things to all people. So that is definitely a huge part of being a boss or whatever, is learning how to delegate and feeling comfort in the team that you have around you or whatever, to being able to trust them to help you guys make the dream work, you know?
So you mentioned these various projects that you're working on right now. What can you tell the public that you are working on, or what they can expect from you?
You know what? The one I'm most excited about, I can't give too many details on, but it is going to be done at home. I have a dear friend of mine that I actually met when I did For the Love of Ruth. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that one, but it was a TV One movie they show every year for Easter with Gary Dourdan. It was just an amazing experience. So I met her on that set, Christine Swanson. She was also the one that did the Clark sisters. Phenomenal person, phenomenal director, right? And so when a person I actually worked with on Meet the Browns came to me and shared this idea with me because of where I come from, I was just like, oh my God, like it's written in the stars. See, that's the other part of my career. Nothing happens by happenstance. Like there's always a reason it presents itself. And when I look up, I'm like, oh, that's what you were doing. Like, that's my career. You know what I'm saying? I didn't choose to be here. He chose it. But what I did was I chose to take those little hints that he dropped and say, your will be done. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're calling me to do. As scary as this is, and as control freak as I am, this is not in my calendar. You know, this was not according to my plan, but it was according to his. And so that's always been something I've been very, very aware of my entire life, my entire career. And so, you know, like I said, so going back, that's one of them. We are also working on a series. We're working on a series right now and have a pitch coming up on that one. So I am praying very hard. But again, teamwork makes the dream work. I have an amazing group of, you know, folks around me, including my manager that I've been with since day one. He and I, you know, collaborate on everything. And the beauty of my manager, Jasper, is that he lets me have it. Like, he can do good with me. I can do good with him. He has no filter. You know, if I'm slacking on an audition or whatever it is, he will call me out in 2 seconds, say, take this BS back to where you got it from and submit it like this. Like, he is no holds barred. And that's what I love about him. So when you have the proper team around you, you can make all these things, you know, manifest. But again, let yourself rest. We're humans. We need time, you know, to rest, relax, regenerate, you know?
That's cool. May I jump in for just a moment? I'm sorry, we have like 7 minutes left, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. We would love to also speak about with Master P. You're doing the new show called Unknown, which is a suspense horror thriller. Yeah. Tell us more about that.
Unknown was something that I worked with Lazrael. He always pronounces it a certain way. And I'm just like, you know what? Your name is Laz. So Laz and I had worked together on Never and Again. And I had an amazing experience working on that with Jackie Long. And you know, I think he realized, you know, what my strengths were. I realized what his were. And so when he came and presented this project, I was just like, hey, let's do it. You know, let's go. Now, the only thing is, because again, I am a control freak. I need to have information. Okay. Laz was like, so here's your few, you know, pages. Here's the scenes that you're inserted into, this, that, and the other. Okay, Laz, but what is, you know, what is this insert into? You know, give me the details on it. No. He was like, I want you to focus and concentrate. Okay, but Laz, I need the complete context in order to completely like figure out how to interpret this character. He's like, Denise, just show up. Okay. And so when I found out that P was there, you know, P was on set before I even got there. That's why I was like, okay, that's how a boss becomes a boss. Okay. He wasn't scheduled for, I don't know, an hour and a half later than whenever I got there. Okay. Dudes don't get in hair and makeup. We're the first ones to set. Right. So he was there. P was ready. Like P, you know, that is just a sign of humility and the fact that he was like, look, we gonna play ball. You ain't gonna like, look, you're not gonna make me look crazy and I ain't gonna make you look crazy. Like, let's do this. And it was awesome. Like we worked, you know, together on Never and Again, you know, we're in a similar scene, but you know, we really didn't get, you know, time to interact much. I mean, they had me like crying every day in scene. So I was trying to meditate and get my mind right for the next scene. But it was phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? He trusted me. I trusted him. There was this point, this is kind of funny. P is like the boss man. Okay, imagine that. P's the boss. And so to kind of get a bigger rise out of him, because I'm the DA, I'm the district attorney, and you can tell there's something going on, you know, between us. And, you know, he's jugging at me, I'm jugging at him. I said, okay, P, listen, talk at me like I'm one of your artists that didn't pay you your money. I'm grown. I can take it. I was like, the only problem you might have is I might burst out laughing in the middle of the scene. I said, but no, talk to me like not, you know, good dad P doing stuff for the community and all that stuff. Not that P. Go back to the old P from the streets. No limit. P. And I'm that chick that wasn't giving you your money. Now lay my ass up. So that was it. That's how we got the performance. And when I tell you he did just that, I was like, that's it. That's it.
Let me tell you, you're amazing and dope. And this is coming out on Amazon. It's going to be like the perfect horror, you know, suspense thriller that gets inside of our minds. You know, people to this day won't even say Candyman when the lights are off. I feel like this is where it's going.
I mean, this was perfect. Releasing it for Halloween because everybody wants to be, quote, scared right now. Shoot. Dude, I told you, I had a fraction of this thing. We were the cherry on top of this thing, okay? He had already built this, you know, model before we came in on it, right? And I'm in the theater like, oh, Lord. Like, oh, geez. I wasn't ready. Like, I wasn't ready. If you want to be on the edge of your seat, like, seriously, this is a suspense on another level. If you want to be in that kind of a, you know, mindset, by all means, Unknown is the thing you need to check out. Like it's crazy. And I couldn't put the pieces of the puzzle together. Like I was just like, okay, wait. And then all of a sudden, you know, at a certain point, the pieces start interconnecting. I'm like, oh, that's what, oh, snap. So it kind of, you know, puts you back on a journey to where all these pieces start to fall into place. And it's a phenomenal film. I told Laz, I'm afraid of what's going on in your mind, because for you to have thought of something like this, like you got something going on up there.
Absolutely, I agree. Okay, we got to let you go. We got 30 seconds or less. So please let the people know that you're on My Celebrity Life with Ge.Holla and give us your social media. Thank you.
All right, everybody. I'm on My Celebrity Life with Ge.Holla, and you can check me out, Denise Boutté, on Instagram at Denise_Boutté, Boutte. It is not booty. It is Boutte. On Facebook, on Instagram. And if you want to check out my culinary side, go to Weeziana Girl. That's WEEZIANA girl.com. So check me out. I'm on Instagram, on Facebook, all that fun stuff, but I don't tweet. No.
Thank you so much for being on the show. You're wonderful. You're awesome. You're amazing. We got to let you go. So Thank you. And please be upon your safe journey in life. Thank you.
Thank you. You guys too. Okay.
All right. Have a good day.
Holla, holla.